The Negro Justice League.
Hi, welcome to the Negro Justice League, a Black Nerd podcast, episode 83. I'm your host, Cherry.
It's your boy, Jay.
And today we have a special guest whose first time it is on the show. MP3 Nut, if you want to say what's up.
Hey, everybody.
If you are following us on Twitch, you'll probably be familiar with him. He's very active in the Twitch, or if you're in the Discord, he's also active there. But this is his first time podcasting, so we are welcoming him today. Let's hop right into the news. First and foremost, I want to say RIP to Diahann Carol. If you don't know who Diahann Carol is, blame your mama. No, no.
We will not start this way.
We're coming out.
We will not start this way. No.
Diahann Carol is an actress. She's most famous for her role on Julia, which is she was the first Black woman to head her own show, so that was super important. And she also was on Dynasty, the old school Dynasty, not the Dynasty you're watching now. She did a couple other things. So if you don't know who that is, look her up. She just passed away at 84 years old. Moving on.
Something funny about this? Sorry.
Sorry, what?
I saw on Twitter, somebody was saying rest in peace Diahann Carol, but they had a picture of Representative Maxine Walker.
We're not gonna do this. This lady done passed, and we're not gonna do this. Jay,
please reclaim your time.
Thank you. Reclaiming my time. Apple Arcade was recently released with the release of iOS 13. It is available on, I think, probably all Apple devices by now. Definitely all by the time this airs. It's a $5 a month service, and they're giving everybody a free month now. I know myself and Peanut both have Apple devices, and we've tried to play some games on Apple Arcade. Peanut, what's your experience with that, briefly?
Multiplayer, I haven't had much luck, but I've had good experiences with some of the single player games, especially once I figured out the controller stuff. It was a lot better. Yeah,
you can connect your personal Xbox and PS4 controllers to your iPads, TVs, phones to use a controller to play these games. I will say that now,
through Bluetooth?
Yeah. Right now, it's a little rusty. The games are still cell phone quality games being moved to the TV. And when you play a cell phone game on your television or your iPad, it's a little disappointing, more so than when you're just tapping with your thumbs. So I think over time, as they get a little more serious with their development, as they get bigger file games, as they work on their multiplayer interface, I think this will be a major contender for things like Switch, because you don't have to buy any device. All you have to do is pay the $5 a month, which I know, another subscription service, but you pay the $5 and you use devices you already have. So I think over time, this will pick up and be something worth playing. So I'm gonna stick with it for a while. We'll keep you guys posted if we find anything that's actually worth telling you guys to play. Moving on. And recently, Michael B. Jordan dropped his clothing line that he did in collaboration with Coach. It is a Naruto-themed line that you guys may have seen the pictures of him and Meg Thee Stallion and various other celebs and whatever doing photo shoot. The clothes have dropped. They're pretty cool. I mean, I guess it's like jackets and pants and stuff with like different sigils and whatever. Nothing.
Sigils.
Yeah, whatever, nothing that I'm too pressed over, and the price tag is out of my range. I mean, I could buy it if I wanted to, but I don't want to. Yeah, that jacket was like $3 something.
The jacket I was looking at was a solid stack.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
There were some that were out before the release that were $1,000, and there were some that came out that were like $700 and $300. Nothing is less than like $300. So, nah.
Even a stack is $300.
Yeah, and there's boots and stuff. So if you got that type of money and you really care, maybe. But the rest of us will be passing on that. Also, at the same time, on the same day that Michael B. Jordan dropped his clothing line, Will Smith dropped what? Hold on now. Will Smith dropped what I think is a surprise line, because I didn't know anything about it. Of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air themed clothes. We've got some t-shirts. We've got some athletic wear. But the coolest thing for me, and I actually bought this, was the jacket that he wore when he was at that private school. And, he turned it inside out so he could have the print on the jacket. They're selling that with the reversible inside out, or you wear it like they're selling it. It's on the website. So I actually ordered it. I ordered it the day it dropped, and there's like a 6 to 8 week delay on that. So I don't know. By the time y'all hear this, they may be sold out. I don't know what the plan is for that, but I thought that was like one of the coolest Fresh Prince of Bel-Air articles I've seen. So Jay, we can go on and pass the news.
Stuff is also pretty reasonably priced.
Very. Oh yeah. The jacket was like 120 something like that. It was like you can afford this stuff.
Like when I went to go look at it, when you told me about it, there was already things that were saying like sold out or not in stock. The jacket, I think they kind of made enough of to try to get people, but I was just upset they didn't have it in my size. But it's dope. It's super, super dope.
Yeah.
So I'm jealous. Moving on. So for those of us who are still somehow tied to the CW and the DC Arrowverse, if you don't know, spoilers, next season will be the last season of Arrow, and they're going to do a very, very big crossover event before that, which is going to be based on Crisis on Infinite Earths, which, if you haven't seen any of the news, looks like they're going all out. Not only are all the CW shows going to be involved, that's including Black Lightning, which beforehand was actually not a part of Arrow and The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow. They're even including people from shows and movies that have no ties to the CW. So you're seeing Tom Welling back as Clark Kent from Smallville. You're seeing Brandon Routh playing Superman. And if you go to our social medias, you'll see a picture of him as Kingdom Come Superman. So he's a little bit older. They put a little bit of gray in his hair, and he looks really, really awesome. It's kind of making me wish that they had another Superman movie or show where he could be in it, even though Cherry thinks Henry Cavill is the perfect and shouldn't be changed. But it's looking really, really good. Ruby Rose is Batwoman. Of course, you still have Tom Hoechlin, I think his name is, playing the Supergirl Superman. So there's going to be 3 Supermen at least. You have, Kevin Conroy playing Batman Beyond Batman. So they're having everyone in this. It's really awesome. I think even Mark Hamilton is supposed to possibly secretly play some type of a Joker. So it's really exciting. I only watch the crossovers because they're the only thing that's actually interesting, but it will be nice to see how the best show, Black Lightning, reacts to seeing all these other superheroes from different worlds. Moving on from that, shout out to Ava DuVernay and Jarrell Jerome and the Exonerated Five, with Jarrell's winning of an Emmy. If you haven't heard, he won an Emmy for Best Supporting Actor, I believe. I'll double check that. Best Lead Actor in a Limited Series. Mm-hmm. They also won on casting, and when he went out there, he just said this is for everyone. This is for all the actors. This is for the Exonerated Five. They had all the Exonerated Five there. It was really awesome. Not only because was this a series that a lot of people got to see the truth of what happened to these young brothers and the horrors of their lives, but to see that the actors who played them great also got some recognition is awesome. So shout out to, again, Jarrell Jerome and the Exonerated Five and Ava DuVernay with that win. Jerry?
Okay, I do want to say we weren't currently podcasting at the time that came out, but we did watch it, and it was amazing. So if you have not seen that, please go back to Netflix and watch When They See Us. It is outstanding. You will not be disappointed. Have your Kleenex next to you as you view this miniseries. All right, moving on. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all what we're talking about today. I'm rusty. Today we're talking about Two Sentence Horror Stories, It Too, and Marianne. Two Sentence Horror Stories is actually a CW show that is currently being put on Netflix as the episodes air. It Too is a movie, and Marianne is a French horror show. So trying to hit It Too by the 20 and Marianne by the 30. It's actually Marianne, but by the 30. If you want to skip ahead for whatever reason, I don't recommend it. All right. Two Sentence Horror Story. So I saw this as a recommended show on my Netflix, and so I decided to watch it, and we put it on the schedule. What I did not know is, Netflix is doing this new thing where they don't release a whole series, a whole season at a time anymore. For some shows, they're releasing episodically. So apparently this is one of those shows. So we're only going to cover the first 8 episodes because that's how much of it was out when we decided that this is what we're going to watch. I don't know how long this show is supposed to be, but I do know we'll be covering the first 8. So, like I said, it's a CW show. Which means it's a little watered down, I would say, compared to what we're used to seeing on Netflix. It's not super gory, not a lot of profanity, no nudity, not what you think when you see horror, not like the other 2 things we're about to talk about. But that aside, I think it's pretty cool. So I want to talk about the premise of Two Sentence Horror Story. If you're familiar with, I would say we probably see this the most on like Reddit. There's this thing where people try to tell a scary story in literally 2 sentences. Like you give one sentence and then the one sentence sets it up and the next sentence is like a punchline that's intended to scare. An example being like, I answered the door and my son was standing there. First sentence. Second sentence, my son has been dead for 20 years. So you should be like, oh, it's a ghost at the door. So this show is set up where...
You do that voice again?
No. So there's a ghost at the door. So this show is set up where at the beginning of the show they give you the setup scary line. You watch the whole episode and at the end of the episode you realize, okay, here's the punchline. This is why what they said was scary. Okay, so about this show, I don't think we have time or even the desire to sit here and break down every episode. They're all completely different. None of them are related. You don't have to watch them in any order, anything like that. Some of them are kind of good, and some of them were like, what did I just do with the last 20 minutes of my life? I think, but none of them are like, eh. Peanut, do you have a favorite of the episodes that you want to talk about?
I think my favorite was the one with the makeup tutorial.
Okay, so yeah, we're definitely doing spoilers, so you can say what you gotta say about that.
Okay, so there's a young lady starts off doing a makeup tutorial. Somebody sneaks in her room, and then things get left. It looks like she's chasing him around the house. He's locked in. She ends up killing him and using his blood to make a skin mask or something crazy. I found that one interesting because I didn't think it was
quickly.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going that direction at all.
It looked like she was about to get murdered, but then it turns out it was a setup and she was luring somebody into her house. And she ends up, the tutorial is not a makeup tutorial. It's like a how to skin somebody and make a face mask tutorial.
That's a new wave that's kind of hit horror movies where they try to like flip it on its head and it's actually the person who looked like the victim who's the actual aggressor. I know we watched another movie recently. Well, not recently, but where it was similar to that. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if it's starting to become like a jump scare kind of cliche tactic, but definitely was surprising.
Leave it another episode on this show like that.
I like it when it's not overdone. Like when it's done well and done sparingly, it's a really good twist. But every show can't do that. I think for me, my favorite episode, there's an episode where this guy, he's a Haitian guy, middle-aged, starting his own family, marries a white woman and moves his mama, his Haitian, very Haitian, straight from the island mama, into his house. And there's an obvious cultural cliche where he's trying to appease his wife and live in quote unquote American, but actually really super white culture in his family. Like there's a scene where he has a son and there's a scene where the grandma's caught beating the son. I mean, and it was a regular, you run around the house, you need a whooping type whooping that is normal in black cultures. But like he sees it and his wife sees it and they freak out. And so there's a lot of like, we don't do this in our house. We like to work with our child. We like to, there's that. And so as a black person watching the show, I was obviously sitting there getting livid because he doesn't use his Haitian name. He won't let his mom, like he's totally assimilated and trying to work with his wife. And then the grandma is trying to tell him, hey, your son's a demon. We need to handle this. and he doesn't want to believe her.
They told that to you, Cherry. They would be like, eh?
I'm like, what else?
Yeah.
So the grandma's trying to use her. She knows her history. She knows her culture, and she knows that this kid is a demon, and she's trying to exorcise the child. And the child is actually extraordinarily powerful and controls the parents. And he ends up killing his grandmother. And it was really tragic to watch her die, like literally and figuratively on the outside of her family at the hands of her grandchild. And I just really like the cultural implications of him marrying this woman outside of his culture and losing his own culture and it costing him his mother's life. I thought that was really interesting.
So here's my question. Are we gonna have a point at some time where we have to talk about, I don't know who the director is or casting, but using black cultures that are still considered exotic as only evil, and the white women who like prevent it? Because this happened in Tales to the Hood, Tales from the Crypt 2 when we watched it,
That was a
where it was,
travesty.
yeah, but it was a similar premise. Black man, old mother, gets, just good enough that he marries a white woman, forgets his heritage, and people end up dying because he's not able to like be
Connect with his
himself.
roots.
Yeah, it's now, is that truthful? We know that is, but it's something about it is starting to kind of, it's like being fake woke to me in a way, because I don't know who are these people who are creating these stories.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
pretty sure Tales from the Hood is by us.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. I'm talking about specifically for this one. Who are
yeah,
these
I don't
people
know who made. I don't know.
My issue with this one was that it was too, I guess, since they're so short, you don't really get to really get any info. Like, so
Yeah,
was this boy born a demon? Like, where did that
you have
even
no
come
idea
from?
why this kid is.
What's up with the parents? Like, it's so many questions.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what makes it good for me. Is like there's a full story packed into the amount of time that they could. Like these other stories, a lot of them, after 10 minutes in, you're like, we don't even need another 10 minutes of this. So, okay,
It's similar to Black Mirror in a way. Some of them are really good and you like to contain stories. Some of them you kind of wish they'd continue.
there was another one, Jay. I think you saw this one that I liked was the first one, which has the same premise where the person that you think is the victim turns out to be a murderer. The first episode where the lady is dating and she's dating this serial killer who has a mother issue, and he ends up trying to kill her, and she's like, "Nah, son, I'm gonna kill you." And we find out that her baby's not real. Like he has a thing where he purposely dates moms, and then he gets mad at the moms for dating, like you're a bad mom, and tries to kill him because he has issues
Oh,
with his
that's my
mom.
type.
But so he's dating this girl and he tries to pull that with her. But you find out that she's not a mother. She's actually had several miscarriages, cannot conceive, and she has a doll that she is raising as a child. So for me, I thought this was a really great episode because it was just so tragic. Like it wasn't scary to me, but the fact that like this is what she was at home, so like she was dedicating her life to this doll because she cannot have children. That was really sad for me. It just made it a tragic episode, and I liked it.
Yeah, none of
Yeah,
these things
that's.
were like scary.
No.
I think that's the problem with stuff like that. It's like if you're gonna jump into horror, you either have to do something where it's horror that's on a cerebral, to where it's like, oh, it's messing with my head,
Like Black Mirror.
or or it got to be horror. And if you're not gonna do both, I'm just left with,
Like
and
Black Mirror only has like one or two episodes that are scary to watch. Most of it is like I'm scared of the world now,
yeah,
and this show doesn't really
yeah,
achieve that.
yeah. And it's the CW too, so they still follow a lot of the CW patterns of doing stuff. Beautiful young people, and I like the premise, and I think it would just be better if this was actually a Netflix thing, or if it was on another, like if this was on Cinemax or HBO, this could be something really, really amazing.
Cinemax.
Uh, Cinemax,
What you trying to get
yeah.
from us? You turned this into a whole nother show. All right, so
Cinemax
let's.
or Skinemax?
Jay,
Cinemax hasn't been Skinemax in like 15 years, Jerry. Come on.
all I remember is the little scrambles. The green wavy lines.
Uh-uh.
Oh, Jay, of the episodes that you saw, I know you didn't get to see all of them, but of the ones that you saw, was there one that stood out that you liked? I know you're not particularly crazy about this show.
The one I liked was the one we were talking about earlier, which was the Hide. So it would have been episode 4 because I didn't even watch them all. But it was basically a woman babysitting a girl and dealing with trying to protect the little girl who was like autistic, or again using all of these special things to make a point. And I just liked it. I think I just like movies like that, home invasion type movies. I think we've done a lot of reviews of movies like that, Purge like, or Hide and Seek, or Quiet Place. It's kind of a bag that I like because I like seeing people being able to overcome, so to speak. And the Hispanic woman was kind of cute. So that's a plus.
Well, you should watch the makeup tutorial one. You'll like her.
Now, what you think about the ending of that one and how
I can't
that
remember the
connected
ending.
to
I'm glad you asked that question because I'm sitting here going, how did that end? Go ahead.
I can't even remember, honestly. How did it end?
She gets deported by ICE.
Oh, yeah. So Jay clearly didn't even see the ending. They knock on the door, like, end of the story.
And actually, there's a point where after the home invasion, the police come and they put like one of those foil blankets on her. And I thought they were going to take her right to the camp from there. But no, she went home, recovered and everything. And then you see the news story and then the police come banging on the door saying it's ICE.
Yeah, because at the beginning, she's telling the kids to never answer the door and never tell nobody who you are and who's home and all that. And like as the regular, like people who grew up in America, you see that and you think that's the regular speech you get, just like don't answer the door for strangers. But then you realize watching this, no, this is a whole new level, a layer, because you know ICE is gonna be knocking on the door, picking people up.
I must have stopped it or something at that because I didn't get the ice.
It was the last like 5 seconds.
Yeah, very end of it.
I didn't get the ice. I got the comfort and it's like, oh man.
No, I didn't.
You cut it off at a good time then. Episode had a whole nother vibe to you.
All right.
Oh, that's trash.
We gotta do an A through F. Peanut, do you have a rating for this show, A to F?
I'll give it a C. I'm really a stickler for long form storytelling, so this 20-minute half bites didn't really work super great for me, but there were 1 or 2 good episodes that I enjoyed, so I'll give it a C.
It's probably 30 minutes on TV with commercials. I'm thinking that's what happened. Jay?
Yeah. I like the premise, but it doesn't do well. So it's a C. You know, it needs to decide how it wants to do it, but I could also see CW keeping this for a few seasons and it being on Netflix for a few seasons, so maybe it could get better.
I'm gonna give it a C plus ish. It's definitely C, but I kind of like some of them, so I threw a plus in there. I said everything I had to say about this. I can't recommend that y'all watch it, but I'm not gonna tell you not to either. So if you got nothing to do, you got 20 minutes, maybe check it out. Moving on. It 2. This is the second installment of It. If you did not get that from the 2, and it's basically this. It's a continuation. The It kids grow up, they're adults, and Pennywise makes his return and starts wreaking havoc. And so the kids got to snap back in action, and make it do what it do. I want to talk first about the casting for this. This is a movie where you have children with character faces. If you don't know what character faces, I think we've talked about them before. They're unique faces that people use for casting to
like
make
yours.
you. I do not have a character face. Maybe I do because nobody looks like me. So anyway, it's a unique type of look that the person's face sticks with you. So all these kids have character faces, like the Stranger Things kids. They all kind of look kind of weird. Those are character faces. What?
You're just gonna call these kids weird like that? Just
strange.
They the Stranger Things?
Yeah, they the Stranger Things, them damn kids. Anyway.
Cut that out.
We're gonna get a letter. Oh man. Alright, we're gonna have the intern edit that out. Let me see. What was I saying? These kids got character faces.
Talking about these kids being ugly.
No, they're not ugly. I think they're cute. They just look different. You can pick him out of a crowd, is what I'm saying.
Oh, it was definitely him. It was him.
Yeah, it was a short one.
No, I don't need to see it. It was him.
Yeah,
with the ears.
it's scary.
Funny looking boy.
Yeah.
Goofy.
Looked like he did something. Awkward. Sorry. This is not supposed to be, we're not supposed to be frying children right now. That's not what we came here for. What I was going to say was, they picked adults who look just like these kids. Like, you don't have to do a lot of back and forth of who's he's supposed to be, it's like 7 of them, and you can keep them straight because they all look weird. You remember what they look like, and the adults look just like these kids. With one exception, the little fat one grew up and got kind of fine. But even then, like, if you look the dude in the face, he looks like he could have been that kid.
He has the eyes. He has the sweet, I used to be fat and picked on eyes. So now I'm swolled up and I want people to know that my soul is still damaged from all of that.
I thought that was the werewolf boy from Twilight.
Ain't he like Native American or something?
I mean, this boy had a little this guy had some bronzer on, a little tan. I don't know.
The only one who didn't look like his kid was the one who played Mike, Isaiah Mustafa. But I think they just found a black.
Like, we'll
So
know which one that
like,
is because he's black. Nah,
yeah,
he
yeah. I
didn't look the
mean, give
same.
him a weird haircut, just like he's still living in the '80s, and he'll
We
be
know which one
fine.
that is. It's the black one. So we need a clarification. Okay, so I think the adults looked good. I think there's a good connection from the past and the present. Even if you don't
Hmm.
remember, they do flashbacks and stuff to tie you to those kids. I do think the casting was done appropriately and well.
Yeah,
Um, where we want to
especially
go?
for the guy who played Eddie. I just want to say that the guy who played Eddie,
Is that
James Ransel.
the Wheezy one?
That's yeah. It was like they pulled him from the future or they got him from the past because their mannerisms were scarily similar.
And they even did a callback during the pharmacy where they like zoomed in and like superimposed the kid's face on the adult
Hmm.
to
Yeah,
like highlight that. That was really good.
yeah.
And also they had the same actress play his wife that played his mom in the first one.
That's a whole different type of movie.
Yeah.
I didn't peep that. It's been a long time since I've seen the first one.
Yeah.
I ain't got no comments for that. So I'm just going to like, I enjoyed this movie. I actually thought it was scary. I saw this, like I was with someone and I jumped up on the person I was with a couple times because I was really like, whoop. So do you guys have like a favorite scary moment or did you think it was scary? And if you thought it was scary, what did you think was scary?
Pina, I'll let you get that one first. Alley
I'll,
oop.
I'll say my favorite part, even though it was heavily shown like in promotional stuff, was Bev's totem mission where she's in the
Hmm.
apartment
Yeah.
and the old lady's creeping around. Since I had saw so much of it in the trailers, I didn't think I would really
Because I
enjoy it.
creep.
But then when she
Yeah.
turns into the when she jumps up and turns into the monster, I was like, oh shit!
She got no clothes on.
Yeah, I totally wasn't expecting that.
She
So
needed a bra in
part,
that scene.
that part got me
Yeah,
pretty
she
good.
definitely needed better support.
She needed some type of support. She had none. Oh, I like that scene, but I didn't find it scary. I was laughing hard during that scene. Like everybody's like, "Oh my god!" And I was cracking up. Like old naked ladies are funny to me. Jay, what about you?
First thing, I think the whole totem mission thing was really weird. I mean, I remember it kind of from the books, I think, but my favorite scene was pretty much at the end where I forget the character's name, but he's played by Billy Hader, Richard, and he's talking to it, and he's like, spoilers, of course, is the end scene. It's this huge, big spider monster, and he's cussing him out. He's calling him a sloppy B word, and it's really powerful, and it just hits him with the death stare, and your boy just. Your boy goes from talking to just like, It was hilarious. It wasn't scary, but it was hilarious at how quickly he stopped. And just was like, yo, you keep on forgetting that you're dealing with a demon. But then they kind of ruined that with the bullying of it afterwards. So, but that was a favorite scene to see that happen because I was shocked.
Bill Hader was the standout performance for me. I think
Yeah.
you expect a lot from James McAvoy. He did fine, but Bill Hader, you kind of think of him maybe as just a dopey SNL guy, but he really brought it and did a great job, I felt.
He did. I think James McAvoy is just such a good actor that even when he's doing great things, like he started having this speech impediment that he brought up every time he was stressed in the movie, and it was such a realistic way. It was like when he was playing, when he did that. What was that previous movie he was in where he had 9 different characters?
Split.
Yeah, he's so good at being able to do mannerisms and change the way he appears and talks, but you just get, like you said, you just get used to him being that good. I think the weakest person on this was actually the person who played Beverly, Jessica Chastain.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Chastain or Chastain?
Chastain.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm chastaining her for her performance. 'Cause it was-
A lot of the story kind of rests on her head, and I'm not sure that she carried it as well as she could have.
Yeah, especially because the little girl or the younger version of her
Was
as a
excellent.
character was
I loved
stronger.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she had a good character face. She was real cute, and like they just, I don't know, they felt like they dropped the ball with that character. I want to say,
That one seemed. Sorry, go ahead, Jerry.
I was just going to run it back to my favorite scene because I didn't get to say it. The scene where the little girl Pennywise lures the very small girl under the bleachers.
Oh man.
And we know that a jump scare is coming. Like, it's blatantly obvious that a jump scare is coming, but they delay it so long, and then they start the conversation back up, that even though you know the jump scare is coming, I still jumped out my seat when he ate a child. Like, because I mean, she was so cute and so sweet and so innocent. You think that, nah, white folks aren't gonna let this little girl get killed. Like, they're not gonna do that. But Pennywise went ahead and took care of her, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I might have to jump on and say I agree with you because that was done really well.
Mhm.
First, they started it off with her like saying, "Nah, stranger danger, cuz I ain't dealing with you," and you think she's getting away, because it kind of needs you to be afraid for him to really do his thing.
Mhm.
But then he gets on her like, "Oh, you're different too," because she has this
Fort
huge,
Weinstein.
yeah, and oh no, she's a sweet little girl, and that jump scare when he's just staring at her.
Yeah, because then they start to have a conversation again. So you think, oh, the jump scare's not coming. They faked me out. And then right when they started talking, y'all. Like, and you don't think that happens to little, sweet little girls. And she never came back.
I think that's actually why this wasn't as scary to me, is because sometimes I think you shouldn't show that. I think a little bit too much in this movie, they showed it actually eating people or killing people. And it's okay a few times, but it was like sometimes you want to turn away. Sometimes you need to let the imagination work. Not just see his big teeth and then he turns into, Chomper.
To that point, I don't think there was enough Pennywise in this movie. I think the first movie, we saw a lot of him dancing and doing scary, weird stuff. This movie, it was so focused on the kids and their missions, and it was really focused on his different forms. Like him scaring them in the way that they can be scared, that there wasn't enough of the clown. And like, I came for the clown more than I came for just scary in general. And I think they went too far away from he can be anything and left the clown. We didn't get enough, to me.
Makes sense. You got it. You got them. You wanted it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
We tied on time, so let's go ahead and A through F it up. Jay, we can start with you.
I'm gonna give it a B. It was still a solid movie. You know what? No, I'm gonna give it a C plus. It was too long. That's the one thing I would say. It was way too long. It's like 2.5, 2:45, and I was losing it after a while. So, if they would have cut down to maybe 20 minutes from that, or just a solid 2 hours, I think it could have done it a lot better service. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna get a C plus for me.
Because it did get to a point where I was like, all right, looking at the watch, when are we out of here?
Yeah.
All right, Peanut.
I'll give it a B plus. I really enjoyed it. They kind of fumbled the ending a little bit, but overall, I really enjoyed it. The audiobook for it is 60 hours, so I didn't think too much of the time.
It's thick.
Yeah.
Okay,
but I really enjoyed it.
I will give it a B plus. I thought it was scary. It's rare that I love scary movies. It's rare that I see them and I'm actually scared. And so this was. I did have jump scares. I did have I enjoyed the movie, but the end, to me, I feel like they dropped the ball in the end. It got clumsy. It was a lot going on. It wasn't scary anymore. It was just like, I can't think of a PC word to say what I want to say.
It was trash.
No, more than trash. It was messy. It was very, very messy. It was sloppy.
I think this would have been a perfect time. They should have just not tried to stay so close to the book ending.
Yeah.
This should have been something revamped.
I like how they kept alluding to the ending going to be bad with the writer. They kept saying how he can't end a book. They're all bad, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff with it in the movie.
That's kind of true. He can set up a good premise, but you got to be able to bring it home. All right, so let's move on. Our last show is called Marianne. Marianne in English, but I feel too country saying Marianne, so we're going to say Marianne because that's really what it's called. This is a French language show on Netflix. It popped up in my what to watch section because I do watch French language things. I don't think it popped up. Was it popping up for y'all? As in what to watch? Okay, so yeah, it is in French language. I watched about half of it in French, with the French subtitles. So I actually got the real experience. And then when I needed to binge watch it to catch up for this podcast, I switched to English to make sure, one, that I fully understood everything that was going on, and two, I could watch it and pay a little less attention and still understand because it is English. So that being said, when I switched to the dub, some of the magic was lost. Like watching it in French, you get the good acting, you get the real meaning of like how things are said and the way things are said. When you switch to the dub, as y'all that watch anime and whatnot know, the acting is never quite as good, and you lose something for me.
Yeah, you lose a little bit of that flavor.
Yeah. So I told you guys to watch this. I recommended it because I actually thought it was scary. I thought it was scary in the first 5 minutes. Like, I was texting someone. I said, look, I'm about to watch this show, Marianne. It's in French. I need to practice my French. I'm going to watch this. 5 minutes later, I'm like, you got to watch this. This is scary. Oh, my God. Because in the first, spoilers, in the first scene, you get this old lady with a character face, total character face on this lady.
Yeah,
she's pulling her teeth out. And for me, any scary movie where people pull out their own teeth, I'm already scared. And like, I think for me, Madame Dogeron, that's the name of her character, what makes her so scary for me is her character face. And there's a little bit of CGI that goes on just to make her smiles a little wider, her eyes a little bigger. But for me, her acting is what drew me into this show, was her face and her voice and her acting, because she terrified me more than anything else. Jay, how did you feel about that character?
I thought she was all right. Honestly, I'm just gonna be real. I like this, but I didn't like it too much, and it took me a really long time to get into it. And when I got into it, it was basically when Madam Whoever was no longer really an important part. It had to get more supernatural for me to actually like this, because at the beginning of this, I really thought, I didn't know if this was gonna be like the Babadook, where this was honestly just a horror movie version of someone's mental illness, which has kind of been a popular thing in the last few horror movies. So it wasn't until, oh, this really is a demon, and this really is supernatural, and this really is, people being possessed, that I really started to get into it. The first 3 or 4 episodes, I was very much on the fence.
I mean, I always knew that it was a demon because Emma was having nightmares that were completely unrelated to Madame Dogeron. So, like, it has to be something going on other than somebody being ill. For me, it's the opposite. I was immediately drawn in specifically because of that character. And as we lose her as a character throughout the season, I became less interested because she, as an individual, as an actress, scares the hell out of me. Like, her face and the way she talks, and like, she scares me. Like, demons and stuff, in theory, don't scare me. But in this show specifically, that lady scared me. Not the demon, her. And y'all really just got to get a good look at her.
Before you said that they did some CGI on her smiles, I actually had a note that I loved her character. I think all the face work she did was amazing. I knew some of the eye stuff was CGI, but her smiles were terrifying. But I didn't realize they were slightly CGI.
I'm assuming, because they were really big. Really, I mean, and obviously most of it is her, but if you watch more, they do a little bit with people's mouths. When they are possessed by Marianne, their mouths are expanded. So I was pretty sure it's her smile, but a little more. But I mean, overall, outside of that, I thought this was a good show. And as we lose that character, and for me, it becomes, I don't even want to say less scary, because there are jump scares that are done well throughout this entire season. Like, and there's a lot of stress and pressure where you know a jump scare is coming, and sometimes it doesn't come, sometimes it comes. Jake, all right, so I do think it is scary, and it's rare for me to find a show that can scare me continuously for 8 episodes. But I think after the first few episodes, we start to get away from it's just being scary and actually get into the story. And I enjoyed the story for the most part. When you really start to find out who Marianne is, where she's coming from, especially when you find out what exactly Emma did. There's a lot of, oh, Emma did this and she ran away and she's been gone for 15 years. And when you really get into the actually seeing what happened, that was when I said, okay, you know what? The story here is actually good. In addition to the jump scares, in addition to the gore, I think.
I think the telling of what Emma did for me was a little weak sauce, because they made it seem like, at first I really thought she killed someone. And then, no, that's not what happened. Although someone did die because of her. Well, did they really die well, they did die because of her, but it wasn't like her fault.
Yeah, but we knew that because we watching this. We know that Marianne is around her and killing people. We know that Emma's not a bad person, that she's really followed by this demon. So I always knew that it was a demon that did something and she happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But I feel like everyone was talking more about. I thought everyone knew that what happened with the little sister and her, but everyone was just talking about her tagging up the police and messing up the church, and the way people were ostracizing her didn't fit the crime to me.
You're right. And they should have played it that everybody was mad she was watching his kid and the kid died. That's what should have been the problem. Because that's your guilt. That's everybody hates me. That's I'm leaving. All that little foolishness she was doing, tearing up the church and stuff. That was, I understand why she did. I liked it. I like to watch her do it because you could see, for the first few episodes, they play her as a jerk. So then when you see that, okay, she's not really a jerk. She had to do that because a priest told her to do that so that she could
had
leave.
to fake it till she make it.
Yeah,
exactly.
So you get sympathy for the character then. But that shouldn't be everybody's motivation for hating her, and you're right. But we're coming close up on time, and I want to talk about the only black character in this show, Sebastian, but they call him Sebi. I have an issue with American shows but a lot, but European shows in particular, where you get one black character and the one black character has to be married to a white person. Whether it's the one black woman, she's married to a white guy, the one black guy is married to a white woman. There's always a token Negro, and they have to have a white family. And that just, I mean, we're watching French shows, so what can you say? But that was annoying. But Sebi as a character, he is always portrayed as a good guy. Emma is throwing her behind at him. He doesn't accept it. He says, I have a wife, I have a kid. He don't want to deal with her. And then we get to the end. I'm spoiling this for Peanut, but whatever. We get to the end, and he climbs into Emma's window with knowing he just had a baby, a week ago, and says, hey, I'm here. I want to kiss you. I want to do this. I want to do that. Takes his own clothes off and initiates. They do what they do. And so for me, I was just watching that scene. I was just so disgusted. We got the one black dude. He's a stand-up guy. He's doing what he's supposed to do. And now he's crawling through windows with a brand new baby, trying to mess with somebody. Oh, one time we're going to have some fun. That really bothered me.
Oh, you didn't watch the end then?
I did. I was waiting on you to comment before we talk about the end.
Well, don't wait for me to comment.
How did you feel anyway about that when you saw it before you saw the end?
Yeah, I thought that was trash. Absolutely.
That's what I'm waiting on you to, I'm trying to give you an opportunity to say that.
No, I thought it was absolutely trash. It didn't make sense. But I also thought it was her just having one of her dreams again. And it was a bad, omen of, maybe you should stop messing with this dude. Because before then, I really did enjoy the fact that, hey, I know we used to have something and I care for you because I'm a good person, but this has nothing to do about, 15 years ago I liked you. I got a whole wife and kid and life, and I haven't thought about you for years. So when it happened, I don't know, people, again, depending on who made this show, I don't know why they would think that would be okay, like you said.
All right,
it always hits different.
I agree with that. Let's not go into the end for this one, just because I feel like almost no one who's listening right now has seen this, and that is the end, the last thing that happens. So let's not say exactly what happens, but there was a period where I was like, forget this show. This is whack. Why are they ruining the only black character? Ain't nobody else cheating. Why is he cheating? But if you do see that and you do feel some type of way about that, please continue the show.
Facts.
Okay, so I put in the notes, my question, is French horror the new wave? And Jay adamantly said no. But I feel like for me, this show was done better than a lot of American scary stuff that I've seen, especially TV shows. So I'm willing to go back into my Netflix and see something French and see if it's worth watching.
It can't be a wave if there's only one movie and it was okay.
That's literally not great. It wasn't okay. It was great. I was scared the whole time watching this.
I think it might have resonated with you personally, not like a big wave that's going to hit multiple.
Okay, so when I say wave, I know that y'all and our listeners and nobody's going to start just watching French horror shows. But for me, I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious, is this a genre that's worth exploring?
No.
Y'all watch y'all watch Japanese cartoons, so let's not do this.
Wait, what did you say?
I said y'all watch Japanese cartoons, so we not gonna do this.
You always try to hit the low belt. Guess what, baby? It's 2019. Everybody watch anime. Meg Thee Stallion, Gucci Man. We all. That's the wave. Trying to bring this French stuff.
So you really think Meg Thee Stallion watching anime?
Oh, I know she's watching anime.
She watches
For
about as
sure.
much as Michael B. Jordan.
And he just has a whole Naruto line. So, yep.
He has okay. Okay.
Touche.
He can't even pronounce Naruto, so anyway, y'all not gonna talk me into frying Michael right now.
Dude, he fried himself.
Um
Have you noticed he's gotten smaller too? He's no longer in his swole mode.
Man, did
he's
you see him sitting next to Meg? And that concerned me because
She was bigger than him.
Megan Thee Stallion
Meg
is
did a lot, man.
she is the same height as me. So if she make him look small, I'm like, oh no. Because oh my gosh, did y'all see her standing next to Brittany Renner?
Yes, I did. Yes,
I was
did.
I
shocked.
saw that.
Like, wow.
Yeah, with the 6-inch boy. Listen,
Wow. Like,
That's
Call me
busting new Jay.
guys, call me sweetie because that's my type.
I
That's
think
my
she
type
cost
right there.
Brittany some followers that day.
Boy, I thought Brittany was thick until she
Brittany must be taking her pictures with some type of zoom lens. She got a concave, convex type of lens on her because this ain't making no sense. This ain't adding up.
Yo, it was like looking at a 1 and a 0. I didn't understand it. Like,
I love seeing Megan like just out places knowing she be her the same height. I love to see her doing things like and she's you know, she modeling some Fashion Nova jeans and stuff too. I'm like, oh, they got stuff for people that's 5'10", okay. But how did we get on this? Y'all have lured me into talking about this woman.
I ain't gonna stop you either.
Okay, so
Look.
it's time to wrap it up for the evening.
Oh, now we got. This would have been a Michael B. Jordan appreciation thing. This would have been a solid 20 minutes, but all right, keep it going.
Jay was about to grab his saddle. Keep on talking about Meg.
Oh my gosh. Peanut, you're not going to be invited on any further episodes. Oh, shoot. All right, we getting out of hand. A through F. Peanut, I know you only saw, first 3 episodes? Are you comfortable grading this? I know you get an, officially on the transcript, you're going to get an incomplete. But can you give it an A through F?
I'm giving it a A- from where I am right now.
Okay.
I'm loving what I'm seeing so far.
Wait, we're not talking about Megan. We're talking about this show.
Oh, the show. That's different.
No.
Hey,
No, yeah.
So I'm loving what I'm seeing. Okay.
I'll give Marianne a A- so far.
Okay, that's nice. For Meg, A++, perfection, all the way. 905, keep it live. For Marianne, because I ain't French, it'll get a B+ for me. The one thing I really liked was how, even though in the dubs, it was funny. It had moments of funny, and I think sometimes in horror, over long periods, you need that levity to make the horror hit a little bit different. So it gets a B+ for me. If there was like a season 2 somehow, I could see myself watching it. I
mean, given the ending, I could see there being a season 2. It just depends on how the French take this and if they decide to watch it.
Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna give it an A-. It was a strong A throughout up until the middle. The climax gets messy for me.
It always does.
Shut up. It's the same. Oh man. Okay. So the same issue that I had with it is like you do a good job building, you do a good job scaring throughout, you build your characters, you build your monster, and then when you get to trying to defeat the monster is a little too much chaos. Like when we lose our linearness of the story, everybody's running in different directions. We don't necessarily get the scares anymore. It's so much run. Let's do what we got to do to defeat them that it can get confusing for the reader, watcher, viewer. And it also loses some of its magic. But I did enjoy it, and I like the ending. I like Black Man's Redemption. I like all of that. So what'd I say? A-? I said A-? So we're gonna stick with A-. All right, let's bring it home. For our notes, we are going to be testing a new format for this show. I'm not going to give you too many details right now because we still got to work out some kinks. But once we get that straightened out, we will have a new format. It's going to be hint interactive. So for those of you that are like super into the show and wanna do a little more participation, we might have something for you coming soon. As always, make sure you're subscribed wherever you are listening. Whatever app you're using right now, make sure you are subscribed, locked in, so that you can get updates. That could be iTunes, Google, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, Podbean, whatever. Wherever you are, like us, follow us, do what you gotta do. Follow us on Twitter at Black Nerdcast, Black Nerdcast as in podcast. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/League Justice League. We also have a Facebook group that you can join where you can post your own things. We're all in there. Comment, like, whatever. You can talk to us. We're very accessible. Our website is NegroJusticeLeague.com. Follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Black Nerdcast. That's where we do our gaming. We've been slacking in our macking on the Twitch lately, but we are actually in the process of developing new content for you guys. So make sure you are not necessarily subscribed yet, but just make sure that you are liking us on the Twitch and rate and review us wherever you do us. And that would especially include iTunes. iTunes always super important. Next episode 84. We are going to be discussing Raising Dion, produced by my husband. And we're also going to be watching Joker and Gemini Man. So make sure that you are here for episode 84. It's going to be on and popping. We'll have a new guest. And that is all. Good night, folks. This was the Negro Justice League, and I am Cherry.